Now, we all know that ICE is run by people who have absolutely no morals, no empathy, and really no soul. But did you know that ICE is apparently also run by complete and total morons? ICE right now is planning on building a urban warfare center here in the United States in the state of Georgia. And that urban warfare center is going to have replicas of homes and hotels and office buildings and apartments, replicas of ones that are in Chicago and in Arizona, and they're going to build all that out in Georgia. Here's the thing though, folks. We weren't supposed to know about that. What happened was that ICE released these plans and didn't properly redact the locations and the overall plans like they were supposed to. And so, here's how Newsweek put it. Newsweek was able to simply copy and paste the document's contents into a word processor and quickly establish that the facility would be built at the Office of Firearms and Tactical Programs, OFTP, Tactical Operations Complex, TOC, at Fort Benning, Georgia, a U.S. Army post used to prepare soldiers for combat. In addition to revealing Fort Benning as the location of the training site, ICE also failed to properly redact information indicating that the Army post would be getting an expansion with up to 50 buildings expected to be added to the site. What happened was they put placeholders in, and it was just a bunch of random letters and sometimes numbers just kind of pounding away at the keyboard to make something there. Instead of actually blacking out the information. So as Newsweek put it, all they had to do was copy and paste, possibly change the font, and suddenly, oh, there it is, all the information that these morons didn't redact. And to make matters worse, this isn't the first time ICE has done this. Mother Jones reported back in August that ICE accidentally exposed that the agreement they had with Palantir would not only be extended, but it was going to cost $49 million in taxpayer money. They meant to redact that, but just failed to do so. Now, the government has very strict guidelines about how to redact things. Basically, you've got to turn it into a PDF. You have to fully put the little black box over it so that the box cannot be removed if copied and pasted into another word processor. It cannot be removed by highlighting and clicking undo or remove or whatever it is. It's a permanent part of the document at that point. ICE apparently didn't get that memo. And they're not smart enough with technology, even though they've got a $49 million contract with Palantir, to know how to properly do this. But that's just half the story, right? We know they're morons now. We know that they seem to hate humanity. But this urban warfare center itself is something that we should probably be a little bit concerned about. Because what they're going to do is they're going to create these replicas of hotels, apartment buildings, homes, et cetera, so they can practice carrying out their raids. They're going to ramp up deportation. They're going to ramp up the raids. They want everybody within their agency to be trained properly. And now we know that they're building specific. They want hyper-realism. So the little facilities they build down there in Georgia are going to be exact replicas of the buildings that they are planning to go and raid. That's what's happening here, folks. This is a massive war on immigrants taking place here in the United States. And I know conservatives are going to say, well, they're in this country illegally. Shouldn't we get rid of them? Shouldn't we carry out these raids? Shouldn't we be spending hundreds of millions of dollars creating these new facilities to deport people who are just trying to work under the radar and contribute to the United States? Because that's what's actually happening here, folks. That is what is happening. Maybe there's a few bad apples out there who've committed a crime. Statistically, far less than what the general population here in the United States commits. The rest of them, they're just trying to get by, trying to work a job. They're out there paying local sales taxes, sending their kids to school, and just trying to live. And here we are, about to spend a couple $100 million on this new training facility so that ICE agents can more effectively grab these people by the collar and toss them out of the country. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week, just click on the little join button right below the video.